We are live. This is the season 4 premiere of Empire State of Baseball, specifically episode number 118 on this Monday, March the 31st, 2025, airing on Instagram, X, and YouTube, and as always, powered by StreamYard. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Empire State of Baseball. We're kicking off a new season, and it sounds like the Mets did something big because Joe would be
Big Pete Grand Slam.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
it. Way to open the show, Pete.
Fantasy purposes, that works. I'll take that. So Pete Alonso with a granny to open up season 4 of ESB. Corey Favs, I can't believe it. 2025 and a new season open for Empire State of Baseball with a new look. Oh, no.
Here we go. It is there we go. It only took 1 minute for the first fuck up of the season. Anyway, regardless, I can't believe season 4. I can't believe it's basically April. Tomorrow's April 1st. This year flew. I think of things that happened last summer with the Mets and all that excitement, the Grimace era. That was already almost a year ago. For us here, too, entering our 4th season, I feel like we just started this thing 2 years ago. It's crazy how much as a show we've grew from year 1 to year 2, then from year 2 to year 3. And I feel like this year 3 to year 4, the best is still to come, which is wild. But what a fun ride it's been these last few years, guys. I got to tell you that.
Absolutely. Tom, you've been through some crazy episodes, especially the ones where you and Joe are just beefing on Yankees Mets topics. I'm sure there's going to be more, not only tonight, but for the rest of season 4. How you feeling about the new season starting?
Feeling good, but I do need to start with a statement off the top here. Us at Free eBay do not believe in drug users on our team, and we have already dropped Jurickson Profar. He has no spot, no role on my squad. Joe's probably going to scoop him up because that's the kind of guy Joe is. But we don't believe in cheaters on Free eBay. That's why we want a Free eBay, because he is wrongfully going to prison, and we can't. Our morals, we can't.
Close your ears, Ace.
Trade by having something like Jurickson Profar stinking up our roster.
I'd pick up Profar, but you can't use an IL spot for a suspension, so he's just a dead roster spot for 3 months.
We don't believe in that. If I could IL him, I wouldn't have, because I just don't. I don't want that in my locker room. It's not something. That's not something we are about.
Do you have Marcell Ozuna on your team?
No, I don't have Marcell Ozuna on my team. Again, we're a team of character.
I'm just trying to gain the consistency here.
No, we're
above
the board. We're not,
Tell you what, the Braves have a lot of bad guys, man. Let me tell you, between Profar, Ozuna, it's been what a time to be Braves in the last 3 or 4 years with some of the characters they've had on that team. And then they had the injury also to Lopez today. So that's a team off to a rough start. Didn't win a game opening weekend. Not a fun time to be a Braves fan right now.
Tom's already talking all that shit. And last time I checked the scoreboard, I seem to be leading all y'all right now. I actually just
with a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr., a drug user cheater on your roster.
Just lost.
If that's how you want to win,
we employ scumbags. It's all right. Just get the job done. But I actually just lost my lead to Sierra. So shout out to Sierra. Not Sierra. Who's this? This is Chooch. Chooch is in the lead now. Wait, should we even say Chooch anymore? We'll get into that later bit. But Matt just took the lead in.
With Aroldis Chapman on his team. Yeah, with Aroldis Chapman.
Point. So we can gain that back. No problem there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a lot of calamity already happening on the show, but let's see what's going on in our chat. Shout out to our guy Big Slick, getting the Jacob Petruzzi Award. Dropped this message at 8:10 in the morning. So I hope he's still here. Ever since that 8:10 in the morning, almost 12 hours to the dot. There's Jacob Petruzzi. Smack that like and sub button for the fellas on your way in. And I really do appreciate that. If you guys are, listen, if you're already listening in, more than likely you're already subscribed, but hit that like button on your way in. It really does a lot for us. Shout out to Future. Good to see Future in here. It's been a while. Future over at Uptown Sports TV. We got Hitman in the building. We got a new face here. Jack Falsetta. Let's go. Shout out to Jack. Mike Pars in the building as well with the same message as Jacob. Do it for the boys. I agree with that. Name that media, Mr. Name That Yank, Mr. Eddie from Yankees Twitter. He's here. Shout out to you. We have Chris Dievis over from a Bronx Take. Let's go, boys. Season 4 going to be a great one, putting a lot of pressure on us. Jonathan's in the building. We got Joe in the building. Joe, go get young Teddy, damn it. And then we got Alon in the building. Love the new logo. Appreciate it, babe. All righty. Before we get into our lineup, as always, we like to talk to Tom about our great partner in Rowback. So, Tom, take it away.
Yeah, listen, and I put a story out there this week. Hopefully, you saw it. Rowback, not just a golf company. They have some awesome new baseball stuff, and this seems like the kind of crowd that would be interested in baseball related things. I got the spring training polo on here, some palm trees, some base, folks. Yeah, real nice one. Do you guys like beer out there? Beer and baseball? Is that something any of you guys would be interested in? They have a new polo. I think it's called the Pastime or something like that. Or that might be another one. Beers, baseball. They do have like a Sandlot themed polo. So again, I think this is the kind of group that might like beers and baseball and that stuff. Check out Rowback. Head over there. And again, they have a lot of nice new activewear shorts, pants, that kind of stuff. Not just golf stuff. Head over to Rowback. Use promo code TWASPL15. Save yourself 15%. And still, if you are interested, that Azalea collection is still live. Stuff's still selling out though. So if you want any of that stuff, head over there. Use the promo code. Save yourself 15%.
I'm wearing the Azalea Performance hoodie, and this thing is awesome. By the way, this, it's so light.
I was going to say, Joe, you look palatable today,
I was going to say, this is the first thing you've ever looked good in your
Joe,
entire
you
life.
look 7 years younger.
You can wear it golfing. This thing is awesome. I need 4 of these ASAP.
Yeah, I scooped up an Azalea polo myself. I mean, I love Rowback. My closet is about a quarter filled with them. They're phenomenal. Love them.
CK also in the building as well. What's up, ESB fam? How sweet it is. And we'll get into Yankees talk in a little bit. But thanks, Tom. Yes, of course, the rundown brought to you by Rowback. Make sure you use promo code TWASPL15 for today's episode of Empire State of Baseball. We're back to essentially a traditional show without Joe, I guess, apparently now. But the Empire Express, which we've been running for the last couple of weeks, we'll talk about Yankees, we'll talk about Mets, and I guess we'll have to talk about those damn torpedo bats as well. So we'll get into that shortly. Then we have a brand new segment for ESB. But not really brand new. It's more of a rebranded segment. The former Chooch's Pick of the Week has now become Book It, and we'll get more into what Book It entails later on tonight. Head to Head makes a return, which Head to Head was a almost like a quarterly segment from last year. It's where we comp the Yankees and Mets players position to position. And I think it's going to be highly controversial this year, considering the fact that Juan Soto is making his has his first year with the New York Mets after 1 year of being with the Yankees and being the leader of these head-to-heads. But I think this is going to be a very fun segment this year with now Soto going across town. So we're going to get into that later on. And then we end every show, every regular season show, that is, with a game. And it's been a while since we've done one of these. It's Guess the Graph, one of my favorites, a Tom classic, call it back all the way to the Savages of the Bronx days. It's our autograph baseball guessing game. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to end tonight's show. So I don't know what happened to Joe. Hoping for the best for Joe. So
he said he has some connection issues. So I'm sure he's restarting the router, and I'm sure he'll be back.
Okay, so while Joe's figuring it out, we'll lay off the Mets stuff for now. We were going to start with Mets, but we'll start with the Yankees. And why not, Tom? Because
why not start with the better team?
Why not start with the team that had the better weekend, and that is the New York Yankees. The Yankees kicking things off at a 3-0 record, beating the Milwaukee Brewers 3 straight. It was you start with a Thursday game that was that the Yankees won by the skin of their teeth. Got wild towards the end. Yanks pulled that out. The next 2 games weren't skin of your teeth games. These were ass beatings, to say the least. Putting up 32 runs against the Milwaukee Brewers across those 2 straight games on Saturday and Sunday, including a franchise record 9 home runs hit on that Saturday game. and led, of course, by that big man who's pictured right there. And if you notice, yes, this is a bit of an old graphic with some new stuff. We have our standings, which these are way too early standings to even be showcasing. Like Corey Favs always says, that first checkpoint is Memorial Day weekend, but we still have it for your reference. But we added team leaders to this mix, and Aaron Judge and leads in every offensive category that we put up there. So, Thomas, how are we feeling after this first weekend of games in the Bronx?
I mean, how can you not feel great? Like you said, Thursday was a little tense. I know I was getting back from work, kind of missed a lot of it, but was able to watch the end there. But then the end, I mean, over the weekend, they just absolutely they beat the beer out of the Brewers, and the Brewers then also got waxed again today by someone, the Royals, I think. Yep. Someone absolutely
the Royals
around. Yep. So listen, the Brewers just might be really bad, but boy, did the Yankees look really good. Offense was clicking. They were getting contributions all over. Starting pitching, first time through, so you weren't getting a ton of length, but I think it's your first time. It's fine. You're not pushing guys 100, 110, 115 pitches in March. So I'm fine with that. Bullpen looked good as it always has. Judge looked like a very bad man with some bad intentions, and he's gotten off to slow starts for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. So seeing him get off to a hot start, he had 58 homers last year? What did he end up with? Mm-hmm. Something like that. And he was terrible for 6 weeks. Just imagine if he had started off like this, we might be in for another historic season for Aaron Judge. What do you got, Rich?
Same conversation goes for 2022 as well, Tom. When he did break the American League record, it was another slow start for him, and we all said if he had gotten off out of the gates hot, he probably would have not only touched but broken Bonds' record of 73. But I know, listen, Joe, I know you want to get on this because there's obviously a bit of a controversy with the equipment that was used, the equipment that is legal, by the way. But Joe, what were your thoughts over this weekend with the Yankees taking on the Brewers?
Yeah, I mean, I think this, as great as the Yankees had, I think this is a little bit about what the Brewers decided not to do, which was get on the bus out of spring training and arrive at the game, because they were just an awful team this past weekend. So credit to the Yankees. The Yankees came ready to play, but unfortunately, the Brewers just didn't show up. So aside from the first game where it got a little tight at the end when Devin Williams was closed and he put a lot of traffic on the bases. But listen, this whole thing with the bat controversy and all that, at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers, the Brewers were throwing bat in practice. I mean, listen, Nestor Cortez, after the third pitch of the game, the last four pitches that Nestor Cortez threw in the major leagues were home runs. The guy shouldn't have been on the mound. So, and the Yankees saw less than 90 number of fastballs at 90 miles an hour or below. The Yankees saw 125 of them in a 3-game span. I mean, that's a huge number of just meatballs that were served up to the Yankees. And great, and again, credit to the Yankees. You still have to show up. It's the first weekend. You still have to hit. But to me, the whole thing with the bats and the torpedo bats and the shape of them and all that stuff, all of that is secondary to the fact that the Brewers just look like a little league team.
The torpedo bats thing is also, I mean, it's fun. We're going to talk about it on the show, right? Because I know a lot of people wanted to know the thoughts. They probably thought Joe was going to have a different thought on it, but listen, it's around the league. Bellinger even said he used one last year. There were some things out there that Stanton's injury. He said he used a different bat last year, and that's what may have caused this injury. It could have been this bat as well. So it's not like the Yankees just invented this. There's other guys using it. I think Lindor is using one. Doesn't seem to be helping him that much. So you still got to hit the ball, right? You still got to hit the ball. The bats are legal, and it's just sour grapes. I mean, I guess when you get your brains beaten game after game, maybe the Brewers are going to bitch and moan about it. But I mean, grow up, and how about you get someone out? And maybe that's more than 9 miles an hour.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. That the only reason these torpedo bats are even getting so wild now across the media and everything is because of the offense that the Yankees put forth this weekend. If the Yankees went out and scored maybe 6 runs combined across 3 games, no one would even know that there's a player on the Yankees using a torpedo bat. It's because the offense clicked at the same time. Michael Kay made the public announcement. That brought the attention to it. So it was really just a perfect storm. That plus combine the fact that the Brewers are absolutely terrible at baseball right now. It's a legal bet. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about it. And then if you think about it too, if you're putting more of the wood in the sweet spot, granted, yeah, if you hit the ball right on the money, you might hit it a little harder. But if you don't hit it on the money, a lot of times you hit it off the end of the bat, you poke it the other way. Those balls are not going to go the other way with a loaded bat in the middle because you're going to have a little bit less wood up top. It's not like a normal bat dimension up top. So it kind of hurts you on one end too. So it's a legal bat. Whether MLB wants to look into it and potentially ban it, it's obviously not happening this year. Maybe they look to do some sort of distribution rule, but that's not going to happen right now. That's not a change this season. It's a change that does not need to be made.
If MLB tracks a massive change in exit velocity, if for whatever reason these bats are coming back and they're 20% higher exit velocity, MLB is going to stand in and do something. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a good hitter, it doesn't matter what bat's in your hands. You're going to be a good hitter. That's just the reality. If you're a good fielder, the glove is more of an extension of you anyway. So if you have bad hands, a different glove is not going to make you a good fielder in a general sense. It helps you at the margins, but at the end of the day, you still have to be able to make contact consistently. Volpe is not going to go from not finding the sweet spot all that often to all of a sudden finding the sweet spot because they move the wood a little further down. And pitchers also going to adjust, right? If the scouting report is Volpe can't hit pitches in on his hands, and all of a sudden he starts hitting pitches out on his hands, they're going to start throwing them away. And he's going to hit things off the end of the bat where now there's less wood off the end of the bat. So until I genuinely see a guy like Volpe all of a sudden have like 25 home runs by Memorial Day or something like that, until I see the record book starting to shatter, I'm not necessarily going to call for these things to be banned or anything like that. Let's just get the data. Let's see what it comes back with. I'm also not going to support if it's like juice baseballs where it just leads to a home run explosion. I'm not going to support them. But at this point, I think it's more about the Brewers' awful weekend than it is about the Yankee bats.
An awful start to the week. I mean, like Tom said, Royals put up 10 spots. Are they using torpedo bats? I don't know. Who cares?
Joe, you're a little bit on a delay. I hate to just kind of go behind the scenes in front of the show. But,
yeah, I know.
While Joe's kind of navigating through that, our buddy Joe here goes, another buddy Joe. Milwaukee straight up didn't show up this weekend. Also, the concern for Saturday's game was the 5 errors. You won't score 20 every game. We tightened it up Sunday, which was much better. And Joe, and that's a great point there made by Joe there, Tom. It was something I brought up on the earlier edition of a Bronx Take today. As awesome as that game was to be there in the crowd, like the NYYU folks who were there for NYYU Day that finally got a win after how many years. Take away the home runs. It's an ugly game for the Yankees right there on Saturday.
Yeah, and the defense should be better this year too. They've improved the defense in almost every position. So, listen, weird day. Max Fried, who's one of the best fielding pitchers, he had an error. It was just some weird stuff going on beginning of the season. I think the Yankees are a better defensive team than they were last year, and I think that's going to prove out. They had a bad day. Listen, if we're still making this many errors or making consistent errors a month into the season, then listen, you could sound some alarms. But I think it was just kind of a bad day. This defense in almost every position has improved from last year. So we can't get too worried right now.
Chris goes, steroid error ratings through the roof. Torpedo will help with ratings. Baseball won't do a thing if people love it. Now, I will say this. I love home run balls. Like when I'm going to games, like, yes, I would love to see a gem. I would love to see great defensive plays. But honestly, if I don't come out of the stadium without seeing one home run hit by my home team, I feel a little bit, taken aback. Yeah, a win's a win, but I want to see some home runs hit. So yeah, if it means across the game we're seeing torpedo bats and it increases slug, I'm all for it. Let's bring the casuals back to the game. Let's bring a little bit of 2019 back to baseball. But I will say that, and I'll leave it here. Kind of feel bad for pitchers. with all the adjustments pitchers had to have made in such a short time frame over the last few years between spider tag, between change of the ball, between pitch clock. Now you have torpedo bats that you're facing. I feel bad that these pitchers, now it's baseball, it's a game of adjustments. You got to feel bad that pitchers have to make so many adjustments within a short time frame over the last few years.
The adjustment the Brewers should have made is throw harder. I think that was kind of to Joe's point, right? Like they weren't pitching well. I don't think the bats had really anything to do with it.
I think it's more about teams that have pitchers not named Jake Bowers. But
it's a story. Well, Jake Bowers didn't give up anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If it's a story because it's the New York Yankees and because they had 9 home runs off guys who were, as Joe said, throwing batting practice. That's why. And Judge doesn't even use them, and he hit 4 over the weekend. So go figure that out.
Correct.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the New York Yankees. This is gonna be a new thing we do also on ESP. We kind of take a look at what they got going on. Yankees hosting the Diamondbacks for 3 straight games, obviously off today, which is great for us because I don't have to worry about watching a Yankee game. I can just worry about this. Yankees hosting the Diamondbacks for 3 straight, starting tomorrow. Corbin Burns up against Will Warren. Tough pitching matchup for Will Warren right there. And the Diamondbacks coming off a big comeback victory in their game yesterday against Chicago. And then the Yankees travel to Pittsburgh. They're on the road for the first time in the 2025 season. I'm not sure if Paul Skeens is in that mix. I haven't checked the probables yet. I hope not, because obviously it is freaking good. But Tom, looking ahead of the schedule before we jump up to the Mets stuff, quick prediction. What do you think the Yankees are going to do in this next 6 games?
Prediction, I'll just listen. Give me 2 series wins. Give me 2 out of 3. Give me 2 out of 3. I'm feeling good with that. Yeah, I mean Burns versus Warren. That's a tough draw. But I mean, Corbin Burns is mortal, so I think they could put up some offense again against him possibly. In Pittsburgh and the most overrated ballpark in America, that team is on the come up. They're still not as good as the Yankees, so it's I'm not. Anything can happen, right? It's baseball, but I think you get 2 series wins. You get yourself off to that'd be a 7-2 start, and you're feeling really good on the show next Monday. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, I'll even go a little lower than that. Even if the Yankees take 3 out of 6, so that means they're dropping one of these series. I think coming off of a 3-game sweep is tough, no matter what teams you face. And yes, Milwaukee, it just seemed to be a cakewalk, and that team is in for a long season if they continue baseball like that. Hey, I'll take half these games. I'm cool with that. 3 out of 6, I think, is fair. And then going into your next set next week, up 6-3 on the season is not a bad start for this team. All right, let's flip over to the Mets as Joe has flipped over from PC to phone. So for the New York Metropolitans, it's all right, Joe. It's episode 1 of many for season 4. We'll figure it out. But for the New York Mets, it wasn't the 3-0 week that the other team across town did, but a 1-2 against the Astros. Juan Soto making his debut with the New York Mets, and he's been great. I mean, clearly, look at the team leaders. But the problem, and Corey Favs, I'm sure you're going to go a little bit more in on it, is a lack of offense. You look at the left side on the Mets versus National League, and this was going into today's games, obviously. But a dead last in all of the NL, but you also were not playing an extra game that more teams were playing. But what are your thoughts on the New York Mets coming out of this first weekend?
Yeah, the thing with the Mets too is look at the opener. They did get some guys on base late, made a little bit of a late game rally that came up short. So that was positive, even though they lost the opener. It's like, all right, it's shades of last year. This is a team that's going to make you sit there and watch the whole game from first pitch to last pitch and try to give you a shot to win. So first game, is what it is. Second game they won, you take it. The Saturday game was a bit disappointing because you only get 1 hit, and it was a Juan Soto double in the first inning. Great. You're starting off with the second guy in the lineup up on second base, 1 out. Awesome. Let's try to drive him in. That was the only hit in the game. So that was frustrating. Now, obviously, whatever they ate this morning for breakfast worked out because right now they're up 8-1 in the 6th inning versus the Marlins. So they definitely came to hit today. The lineup's going to hit. It is what it is. For whatever reason with the Mets, the last couple of years, they seem to start off a little slow on offense. We know Francisco Lindor, he's going to hit 150 through April. That's just the matter of fact. That's what he is. And then from May onwards, he's going to be an all-star player. So that's just the case.
Probably not, because he's never been an all-star player as a Met. But
I mean, he's also complete travesty, and shame on the voters for not voting him in.
Be better.
The guy almost won the NL MVP last year, if not for Shohei Ohtani. But, it is what it is. I was really more impressed with the pitching than I was disappointed with the offense, because the Mets didn't throw out their best arms in the first 3 games, too. I mean, they started off with Holmes. Again, I'm high on Holmes this year. Didn't have the best first start, but again, his first start is what it is. But then McGill turned out a pretty good outing. Griffin Canning had a phenomenal outing. That's why it's even more disappointing, because he almost gave you a quality start. He finished a third of an inning shy of a quality start. And unfortunately, the Mets just could not muster more than a run on Sunday. So unfortunate. But I got to say, the pitching looked good. The bullpens looked really good, too. So kudos to the bullpen thus far. Juan Soto looking phenomenal. Again, that first strikeout in the first game got a lot of attention, obviously, considering the situation. But outside of that one at-bat where he fell short, Juan Soto's been everything as advertised. I mean, he's hitting the ball hard. He's been on base, I think, 3 times in today's game. I mean, you can see the 1.316 OPS to start. Again, very small sample size. So, he's been everything as advertised. He made a phenomenal play in right field, too. Then he also booted a ball, but thankfully Siri was backing him up. So it's been a fun start for Soto. Hopefully this Marlins series wakes up the bats, and then this time next week we're cruising along.
I got to make – go on, Rich.
Oh, no, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I got to make a point on the Soto stuff. We talked about it in nauseum in the offseason, and saw a lot of stuff. He had that big strikeout against Hader, and definitely some Yankee fans were excited about it. This is what you get, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of Mets fans attempting to do the little brother stuff. Guys, it's all right that Yankee fans don't like Juan Soto and that they're going to actively root against him. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't, in a world of social media where these clips are constantly out there. It's not like Yankee fans had to search for Juan Soto striking out against Hader. It was everywhere, and for them to laugh about it is normal. Listen, if Pete Alonso, and I understand he was a Met longer than Soto was a Yankee, if Pete Alonso did sign with the Yankees in the offseason and struck out at the end of the game, Mets fans would give a laugh as well. So this whole idea that Yankee fans could dislike him and they're going to boo him because they feel like things didn't go the way they wanted to. And that's fine. That's sports. It's really dumb when people act like, Yankee fans, they care so much about what the Mets are going on. Trust me, Yankee fans do not. But when you see a strikeout, a big spot in an opening game, you're going to laugh a little bit.
I don't know. I found it a little funny that I saw more Yankee tweets from Yankee fans against Soto. Your team had 4 home runs. You had a phenomenal weekend. And every tweet I see is Soto.
You can blame
home run tweet. Austin Wells home run.
Well, first, hold on.
Blame Elmo and his algorithm for that.
Hold on a second.
That's just serving you stuff to get you engaged. So that's all that's
as somebody who spends an ungodly amount of hours on Twitter Spaces, Corey Favs, I need examples of these Yankee fans that you're talking about, because if the Yankee fans that I think you're talking about, I can tell you right now, they don't belong in the fan base to begin with. I'm talking about the Barstool Sports guys, as in Hubs and Mush and Nick Turturro, who is a D-list actor to begin with, or
he was
Patrick Hennessy, who's an embarrassment to Yankee fans. I kind of want to see what Yankee fans you have profiled for this. And I guess, listen, there's some idiots in all fan bases. But
You're
I will
just
say
getting
this.
served stuff. That's all that's happening. Corey, you clicked one thing, and then the algorithm said, let's just piss off this fool for the next 20 minutes. And they're going to keep sending us. That's how Twitter works. Unfortunately, that's the shit world we live in.
Oh, there he is. Oh, Joe, you look so much better now. Look at you.
I dusted off the Ethernet cord and just plugged it directly into my computer.
What did he?
There you go.
There we go.
So I'm running at max capacity now, and
hardwired.
If I'm hardwired in, So if there's something wrong, it's my computer's fault, and that means it's time for a new computer.
We're still a little fuzzy there, Joseph, but it's
It
all
held
right.
on, though. It held on. It held on.
You're doing better. You're doing better. So let's
look
go
good
hang
at
tight.
least.
You look good. You look great in that row back. T-Wasp with 15 co. But Tom, I gotta say this real quick. When it comes to the laughing at Soto over the hater K, it's amazing to me how many Yankee fans over this weekend turned off their almost decade-long hatred of the Houston Astros because of one moment. And to be honest with you, when it comes down to it, and the Yankees are fighting for a playoff spot, and if it's the Astros they're looking at as a potential wild card, I wanted the Mets to sweep Houston this past weekend. I want the Mets to sweep Toronto this coming weekend. Like, I want the Mets and Soto to go off on the Orioles and the Red Sox. And I get it, it's day one, and it's funny because of what happened 365 days prior in the same moment. But here's the thing. People forget about the baseball story. What I liked about it had nothing to do with Soto and him formerly being a Yankee. It had everything to do about Josh Hader adjusting to a situation that he was literally in 365 days ago. And as a baseball story, and I think Joe and Corey could admit to it, having a pitcher go from giving up a game-winning hit last year to facing that same batter and striking him out, I think is a great baseball story for the adjustment that was done 365 days out. That's the way I see it. Plus the fact, again, fuck the Astros. Like, I still wanted the Mets to win that series.
Oh,
so,
of course. That doesn't mean you can't get a laugh off. It's guys, this is sports. It's supposed to be fun. You get laughs off in those circumstances. Anyone that leaves your team, especially in the way that the whole Soto drama happened, yeah, you're gonna enjoy it a there's nothing wrong with that.
Am I good? Am I better?
You're good.
Yeah,
right,
much better.
Cool. Yeah, listen, the Mets they won 1-2 against the Astros. I think they had like 9 balls hit 100 miles an hour plus with runners in scoring position, and every single one was an out. So it was an abnormality. The Mets had 1 million guys on base. I think they were like 0 for 10 or 0 for 6 in the last game with runners in scoring position. So the Mets are going to be fine. They're blowing out the Marlins right now. It's 8-1.
Now it's 10-1.
Huh?
Now Nimmo hit a home run, 10-1.
Ooh. So yeah, the Mets offense is going to be completely fine, and they're doing this without Lindor. They're also beating up on the Marlins. They're going to be fine. I was more impressed with Griffin Cannon's performance pitching. I was more impressed. Holmes had kind of an up and down start. He had an error
based on these team leaders. It looks like McGill had a pretty good start himself.
McGill had a really good start and faded late. So listen, the offense is not to worry about with the Mets. If you ask me, that game one situation, Juan Soto at the plate against whatever team's best pitcher, I'm going to take that matchup every single time. And even the great ones, you could say that if you're a 350 hitter with runners in scoring position, in that situation, 6.5 times out of 10, you're gonna get an out. You're not gonna come through, and that's the most clutch guys. Jeter made outs in big moments, so like it's not a big deal. It's something that I just don't even pay attention to. The Mets are fine, and any Met fan that's panicking, you need your head examined. Calm down. Everybody's fine. And you know what's even better about the Mets start? We started 1-2. The Braves are 0-4 and lost half their team in the last 24 hours. So I'm not concerned. They'll be fine. They had the 1 weekend in the season. And against a pesky Astros team. I don't think the Astros are quite what they used to be, but they're still a dangerous team. There's still dangerous hitters in that lineup.
Still have one in the West. Joe and Corey, we'll flip to your upcoming schedule as well. Obviously, we know what's going on right now with Mets. Marlins. Mets are beating up on the Marlins, who are off to a pretty hot start. So this is going to slow their momentum down, I would think. But we got 2 more games against Miami on the road. the off day Thursday, and then the Mets have the home opener Friday against the Toronto Blue Jays. And like I mentioned before, I hope the Mets are able to take out Toronto for the upcoming set. Corey, Favs, and Joe, your predictions for these next, the next 5 games, because we know where this game is going.
Yeah, at least for tonight. I mean, obviously, you're getting the win tonight up 10-1. I want to sweep the series, too. Put the Marlins right in their place. You got Senga making his debut tomorrow. Holmes making his second start Wednesday. So the Mets definitely have the better pitching matchups. I want to sweep the Marlins. And then the Blue Jays, again, just win 2 out of 3, win the series. If I had to pick which one they win, I hope for sure it's Friday because I'm going to be at the home opener. And you always like to win the home opener. Sweep the Marlins, take 2 of 3 from the Blue Jays, and I'll be a very happy man.
Joe?
Yeah, no, listen, the biggest thing is you have to take care of business against the bottom division teams. Take care of business, win at least 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. And then you get to go home, your home opener. You got Blue Jays team that didn't really seem all that enthusiastic the other day. The fans aren't enthusiastic about the Blue Jays, so maybe you catch them. But just start winning series. We say it all the time. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat to. Be competitive in all the other series, and you're going to have yourself a good season. So if the Mets win 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, they're back in shape. They're at 500 going into their home opener, their home stand for the first time this year. And that ballpark is going to be energetic.
Oh, yes.
The Mets, the one thing they've done, they've sold tickets. The game, I've heard the first 2 games are sold out, and Sunday is nearly a sellout. So the ballpark's going to be electric. They've sold out season tickets this year, which is incredible. So that Mets attendance is going to be a big thing, and you better come and be prepared. And if anybody just saw, there's lightning in the background.
Well, they do have 75 different in-game games and promos and races and cheerleaders going on. So I guess there's something for you there.
Hey, listen, you go to the ballpark to be entertained. I mean, who cares? It's not taken away from the game. It's just the stuff in between.
Yeah, well, they got to find a way to entertain people, and clearly the product on the field's not doing it. Let's move.
Let's keep it moving because we're definitely going to go over time. But hell, it is episode 1 of season 4, so I guess it was just meant to be. Joe, you're back. So with that said, let's talk about Instagram.
Yes, you can follow us at Empire State Baseball on Instagram for all of our archive segments, hilarious reels, and much, much more. Corey Favs, who is our reels expert, has made some really good ones in the past few days. I think one of them actually was up over 100,000 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So he's been fantastic. You can follow our team. Follow Corey at Corey Favs, myself at JR Pugs, Rich at Rich J Rivera, and Tom at T Wospil. I think we're approaching 7,000 followers on the brand. We're past it. They're past it. The script's not up there. So we're past it. So we're way past 7,000 followers and growing. So thank you to everybody who follows us on the gram.
Absolutely. A couple of shout outs. We got Kristen in the building, and shout out to Andrew. Bellinger was a solid base runner, which the Yankees needed bad. Love the addition of Cody Bellinger thus far. And for fantasy purposes as well. He's been great. As long as you start him. So anyway, let's get it going. I don't know why I can't get this comment off the screen. There we go. Let's get it going to our next segment, which is a rebrand, a refresh. There is of an old segment that we've done for the past 3 years here on Empire State of Baseball. The artist formerly known as Chooch, Chooch's Pick of the Week, which has been our MLB series and player to watch segment that we've done for the last couple of years. Well, we're going through a little bit of a refresh, rebrand. Rebrand's the better word. The new segment is called Book It, and Book It is brought to you by Book with Took, as Took now has been a travel advisor with Believe in Magic Travel LLC. You can make sure to contact Matt for all your Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Studios, and Sandals travels need. Even has a 3-day, 3-park ticket available for this summer. The deal this deal permits admission exclusively to Disney Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Disney's Animal Kingdom. Make sure to follow at Book with Took on Instagram. Now, typically, Took would send a video submission of his pick for the week and his series, but he wanted to change things up to start things off. So we don't get a video. We don't get the cheetah blanket, Tom. But we do get a list of Matt's regular season predictions for 2025. And this is what he pulled up for the in-season standings, the league leaders, and the awards. No World Series prediction. I guess he's going to wait on that when we get a little bit closer to the season, so you more guarantee his pick. But I'm going to count this towards Took's overall record here. So each one he gets right, I'm giving him a point for standings, for league leaders. And if he gets an award right, I'm going to give him 2 points for each one he does get right. So there's a lot of points here for Matt to pick up. But, you know, Tom, when you're looking at this board for 2025 season predictions, anything stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, it basically looks like the NCAA tournament right now because I just see a ton of chalk. Oh, Luis Arraez is going to lead the NL in batting. Wow, can't believe that. Ellie De La Cruz is going to lead the league in steals. I wouldn't believe that at all. Paul Skeens, strikeouts. I mean, come on, Tuck. We got to do a little bit better here. He went out on a little bit of a limb with Bobby Witt and Juan Soto winning MVPs. I want a little more. I want a little more from our Cheetah King, and that's what I got. That's what I got to say.
The Sasaki Rookie of the Year is not off to a good start. That's for sure.
Well,
no.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I looking at this, I don't know if I like the Cubs in the Central. I just don't think they're going to score enough. Is that Cole Reagans for? Is that Reagans for?
That is Reagans. It's not Seth Lugo. Don't get excited over there, Joe.
That's Reagans for Cy Young. I do love the Juan Soto for MVP. I like that. It's different. It's again, it's not
different.
Something.
You predicted this 2-3 weeks ago.
No, but everybody's picking Ohtani, and it's wild work here that Ohtani's going to lead the league in home runs and not win the MVP. That's wild. That's wild work. The 2 home run leaders not winning the MVP.
A little bit of inconsistency, yeah.
I this pretty standard stuff here, but I like the Reagans pick. That one's a little outside the box. I don't know about the saves leader coming from the Cardinals. I don't think they're going to have enough games to save, to be honest with you, for anybody to lead the league in saves. But
it's tough. I mean, Helsley is coming off the NL reliever of the year. How about you, Corey Favs? What do you got on this?
What I'm looking at first, too, I'm looking at the standings because outside of 2 teams, one in each league, it's pretty much a clone of what I have, too. In the American League, I think my one difference is I swapped out wild card 3. I had the Astros, and he's got the Mariners. I think that's an even swap. On the National League side, he's got the Cubs winning the Central. I have a little bit of the gamble on the young Pirates team, but outside, and I also had the Mets winning the East. But I did have the Phillies and the Mets both in the playoffs. So
other than all of the
teams,
picks, they're the same as Corey's.
Very close. Very close with the playoff standings there.
And just for me, real quick, just looking at this, there's a lot of obvious picks. I think Joe hit it on the head with Reagans. Jason Dominguez, though, as American League Rookie of the Year, is going to spark my interest. I know that's Tom. That was a prediction of yours a couple of weeks ago for our big prediction show. Thus far, Dominguez hasn't looked so great, which is kind of hard to believe because everybody looked great this past weekend against Milwaukee, and Dominguez seems to be the only. Let me ask you a question. What's your thoughts on the Yankees' usage of Dominguez, of getting his at bats in and then taking him out late in games for defense? Do you think that's something that worries you when it comes to maybe stunting development?
Kind of. I don't think I get it in a close game and you want to bring Grisham in. Other than that, I think you're only going to learn by playing and in games that they're now. Listen, they took him out also because they're blowing a team out, and they're like, "Hey, let's just kind of keep people fresh from the end of the year."
There he is.
That's one thing too. But he needs to play. Like if he's not going to play, then he's not going to get better, and then if he's not going to get better, then it becomes an issue, and we don't need balls dropping in important games down the stretch. So I need to see him out there.
Yeah, I mean, from a managerial perspective of winning games, it's the right move. You put in arguably your best outfield defender and take out your worst. And right now that's Dominguez, and Grisham is probably your best fielded outfielder. And Bellinger's got the flexibility to move to all 3 positions. I do think it does show a lack of confidence in his ability as a rookie. but it's not the first time rookies have been removed for defensive replacements late in games. I mean, it's not unheard of. I just think it goes to show you, at the end of the day, the defense for Dominguez is a concern of the Yankees. It whether or not it hurts them in any way, shape, or form, it remains to be seen. But it is definitely showing that it is a concern. It is a work in progress, and he's not going to be winning a Gold Glove this year. That is something that is a part of his game that he needs to work on.
Yeah, and if you're a team trying to win it all, and the Yankees are a team trying to win it all, ultimately you have to do what's best for your team to win the game. And right now, it's making that change late if you have to.
Yeah, I agree. As long as you're not taking too many at bats from, which is not the case. I think in that I believe it was the Saturday game when they, or it could have been the Thursday game when they first pulled it off, and Grisham ended up coming to the game, got an at bat. It was in a game where at that point you weren't expecting Grisham's at bat to even come through, and he still ripped the single. It is a smart baseball move to make. You're still giving the kid chances to hit, and at the end of the day, this is a guy profiled for his bat, not profiled for his glove. So get his experience with the stick. And while he's at it, you're with Trent Grisham, you're with Cody Bellinger, you're with Aaron Judge. Pick their brain, and I'm sure that's what he's doing. So I'm probably saying something that he's already doing himself. This is on the assumption that he's, on his own island. Pick those brains of those guys. Those guys are great outfielders. Take advantage while you have them. But that's it for Book It. So again, we're going to keep these in mind throughout the season. Obviously, we're going to more know the results when we get into September and then November with the awards. But yeah, 1 point each for season standings, 1 point each for league leaders, and 2 points each for awards. And Matt, I won't give you any negative points if you get anything wrong. So this is the only time I won't give you any negative points. All righty, so that's it for Book It. And make sure, again, to follow at Book What Took on Instagram for all your Disney, Disneyland, Universal Studios, and Sandals Resorts needs. And Took will hook you up. All right, let's talk about the tube, Thomas.
Let's do it. Yeah, and listen, if you're watching us on Twitter or on Instagram, if we can still do that anymore, don't really know, don't really care. What we really want you to watch us is on YouTube. It's the best way to engage with the show, get your comments read out, and get notifications when we go live. Plus, you can watch recaps, our replays of the show, clips, shorts as well. Head over to, if you're not watching us on YouTube, head over there. Empire State of Baseball, give us a follow, like the video, share it with your friends. If you don't have any friends, make another YouTube account, like it there, share it, and just keep going down the line until we reach 1 million subs.
Let's get into our main event. It's head-to-head, a recurring bit we've done over the past few years. We like to try to do these kind of quarterly, beginning of the season, mid-season, end of season, but we're doing a Yankees versus Mets
how quarters work, Rich.
Position to position. Yes, that's how quarters work. Like today.
That's not how quarters work. That was 3.
Thirds.
Yeah.
Thirds.
That's better.
That's better. That's it. Thirds. Today was a quarter, and it was miserable. So let's get into it head to head. I think a lot of these we're gonna kind of fly through because I don't think there's really a conversation. But we'll start with our first head to head. We start in the infield at first base. Pete Alonso versus Paul Goldschmidt. We'll go around the room. Corey, Joe, Tom, then I.
Goldschmidt's had the better career. He's had a great first weekend, but for right now, I'm still giving the slight edge to the New York Metropolitans and Pete Alonso.
Yeah, 3 years ago, this was a debate. Goldschmidt was an MVP, but Goldschmidt's going into his age 38 season. Is there still some ball game left in him? Yes, but Pete Alonso is going to hit probably 35 to 40 home runs this year. You're going to take Pete Alonso despite the fact that Goldschmidt's a better fielder. But yeah, you're taking Pete Alonso in this situation at this point in Goldschmidt's career.
3 years ago, it wasn't an argument. Goldschmidt was an MVP. He was a better player than Pete Alonso at that point. At this point, yeah, it is Pete Alonso, although I will say Paul Goldschmidt is what the Yankees need for at least this 1 year period to stabilize the position, give good defense, give good at-bats. I do like what he's been doing so far, but the answer is Pete.
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous right there. Let's get the second base quick. So we got Jazz Chisholm as the lone representative of the Yankee side, while the Mets are working on this platoon situation with Brett Beatty and Luis Angel Acuna. Corey, Favs, are you going with the platoon or are you going with Jazz?
I'm going to play some music here. I'm going to go with Jazz. And again, I love the potential with Beatty and Acuna, but you got to see what happens. Acuna in a short window did really well last year. Beatty, in his brief major league career, has not done well. Now, granted, he had a nice double today. The season's still early. We'll see what happens. But until both of them could prove that they're the player they could be, I have to go with the known quantity in Jazz, who brings a little bit of a spark, some athleticism. So I have to go with Jazz.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Jazz fan in the world, but I'll still take him over what we have currently. I'd probably still even take him over McNeil. I definitely would take him over McNeil, who's going to end up being the full-time second baseman anyway. So right now it's Jazz. And that stadium, that swing in that park is
that's torpedo bat.
Yeah.
There was a play on opening day. A ball was hit in the hole that for the past 5 years, sorry, Sierra, if you're listening, that would have gotten past Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres wouldn't have even been able to spit on the ball. Jazz made the play, got up, threw it to first, and it was nice to see. Not only is he a better offensive player than what the Mets have right now, he is a very good defender. He's so athletic, and he's going to make that infield defense so much better this year.
Again, I say we got through these pretty quickly. I'm going to definitely say Jazz Chisholm here as well. Let's go over to third base. And again, I think this is a kind of a cakewalk here, considering the season Mark Vientos had last year. And I don't know what he did in today's game. I know he's off to a little bit of a slow start, but so is kind of Cabrera. Cabrera is usually a hot start. I think he's got like 1 or 2 hits thus far to kick things off, but I think this is a quite the easy matchup here, Corey Favs.
Oh yeah, 100%. And listen, you take Cabrera's glove over Vientos' glove, but overall, it's a no contest, Mark Vientos.
Yeah, I mean Vientos. I expect Vientos to challenge to be an all-star this year. I mean, that's how good his bat is. He won 1 for 3 today with a walk. But yeah, it's Vientos by a mile.
I think Vientos is wildly overrated, especially by Mets fans. That being said, he is the answer. He's a better player than what Waldo or Peraza are going to give you at third. But I mean, I think we are getting way ahead of ourselves.
It's Mark Vientos for me. Oswaldo Cabrera, as much as I love the guy, he's a Swiss Army knife that's currently playing a starter's role. That might not even be his. You never know with that third base position in New York. So with the Yankees. All right, let's go to shortstop again. I don't really think this is much of a contest still. 3 years in a row now. Although Volpe is off to a great start with that nice little bat of his. I think this is a 4-man for Francisco Lindor, isn't it, Corey Favs?
Yes, I'm going Francisco Lindor too. And listen, Volpe might have a great year. Maybe this is the year he breaks out. Nice start to the season for him. But even if he does break out this year, the answer at the end of the year is still Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, it's Lindor, runner-up in the MVP.
Yep. I mean, he's not an all-star or Gold Glove finalist, but it is Lindor.
All right. Yes. Francisco Lindor, it gets the choice. So right now, I think, what is it now? 3-1 Mets here in the head-to-head. You got first, you got third, you got short. All right. So now this is where it's going to start to really get interesting here. All right. Our next matchup, we are going to go to the outfield, and we're not going left field, center field, right field. We are just doing the outfield as a whole. And for the outfield as a whole, for the Mets, you got Soto, Tyrone Taylor, Brandon Nimmo in there, but you obviously could throw Jose Siri in that mix. Yeah. Yankees, it's Judge, Bellinger, Dominguez, and really Trent Grisham towards the tail end of games. Corey, what do you got here in this matchup?
Just because of how good a player Judge is, and granted, Soto is the second best outfielder in baseball in terms of bat. Judge is number 1 in baseball. So really, it comes down to the other two. I think the other two are kind of a push. I mean, Taylor's the weakest of the 4, but he's going to give you Gold Glove caliber defense in center field. Nimmo's relatively consistent. I think he's more consistent than Bellinger, despite Bellinger having a little more upside potential. And then, Dominguez, he's got more of a bat than Taylor, but Taylor's a significantly better fielder. So I think the other two players are a push. And then when you compare Judge and Soto, as much as I love Soto, second best player in baseball, Judge is the best player in baseball. So slight edge to the Yankees.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's the fall off from the top two. So it's Judge and Soto are the top two. Judge is clearly the top one, not only because he's a better offensive player at his peak, he's a better fielder than Soto at his peak. But then Soto is so far and above the next best one, which you can have the debate whether it's Nimmo or Bellinger, Bellinger is going to get credit because that stadium is going to play really well for Cody Bellinger.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 3 seasons, Nimmo has been the better player. So when you look at his OPS, when you look at his OPS plus, Nimmo is better than Bellinger the last 3 seasons. This season, I don't know if it stays that way, but this is it just comes down to the fact that Judge is a little bit better than Soto. And then,
Judge is a lot of bit better than Soto. Come on, he's a better hitter.
We're talking about top 2 offensive players.
He is literally better in every category than Juan Soto.
Again, we're talking about 2 of the 3 top offensive players in all of baseball
he does.
here.
He hits for a higher average. He hits for more power. He is a better base runner. He is a better defender.
The gap between Soto and Judge is smaller than Soto and Bellinger or Nimmo.
Yeah, sure. Yes. The gap between Juan Soto and Cody Bellinger is wider than Judge and Soto, but Judge is better at him at everything. There's nothing Juan Soto does.
I just called him a better player. I said that. That's why the Yankees win the position.
They do win the position, but it's not close.
Shout out to Caitlin in the chat. She may know one of these 4 fellas very closely. So we're gonna
wait a second, Tom. Who was better in the playoffs last year?
Sure. I mean that you're using.
So I just named something that Soto is better than Judge at.
Well, I mean, Soto probably not going to be in the playoffs this year, so that's going to be a real moot point.
That's wild.
I made my point.
So Par's gonna go. Soto might have more discipline. That's it. Judge is chasing that low and away slider less and less each year, though. But that's it. Big Slick goes. Corey's the only Met fan I can respect with his baseball takes.
I have the exact same take with it.
Jojo, this Joe guy is so clueless. Who let this guy on the panel?
Hey, Jojo. Your left fielder just got suspended for 80 games. Your number 3 starter just went on the shelf for the half the season. I think you should take the L on the Braves right now.
Rough start. All right. So Tom, you got Yankees outfield, and I got Yankees outfield. So Yankees outfield takes the mix. Takes that. We'll go to catcher behind the plate. So that's not Francisco Alvarez. That is Luis Torrens. Alvarez still on the mend. So we compare the teams as they're currently constructed with their active players. So Wells versus Torrens. Corey Favs, who you got?
Listen, I absolutely love Luis Torrens. He plays a phenomenal catcher. He had the home run today. He's actually been hitting pretty decent, but I got to go with Wells. The upside's there. I mean, you've seen the power right off the rip from him. You go with the young, promising catcher in Wells. As much as I love Torrens, I have to go with the Yankees here.
No, Torrens is a great defensive catcher as far as throwing out base runners. He controls the running game. I think he had the most caught stealing in the league last year or something in limited time.
Some percentage, yeah.
Yeah, he was up at the top. He's not the offensive player. Wells is. If this was Alvarez, you'd have a debate on whether you take the potential and the ceiling of Alvarez over Wells. Then you could have a debate. In this case, you're not having that debate. You're taking Austin Wells.
We had that last year, and Austin Wells was better than Francisco Alvarez. So he's better than Torrens, and Wells is the clear winner here.
Yes, I'm going to make that a clean sweep with Wells. Actually, in this graphic, with WrestleMania around the corner. This is like a WrestleMania card right here. Torrens and Wells staring at each other right there. That's a real, it's like a main event card. I love it. All right, we're going to flip to the last offensive side. It's designated hitter. And again, similar to the second base deal, and Joe and Corey can correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like there's a platoon there with Winker and Marte. Yeah. Right now for the DH for the Yankees, Ben Rice has taken 2 out of 3 games. It looks like they're going to ride with Ben Rice for most of the games unless the player's getting a blow. So this is the matchup we're going with here. This is a tough one, believe it or not. Corey Favs, who do you got in this one?
I'm going with the Mets here, too. I think Marte and Winker is the ideal traditional lefty-righty platoon. Because when either one of them is in the lineup, you're getting almost the same player, one with his strength from the left side, one with his strength from the right side. Marte actually gives you a little bit of athleticism. Also, he led off today's game with Lindor getting the day off for paternity leave. I think Marte still has something in the tank. He's not an everyday player, but I think he can still give you 100 great games over the course of a year. Winker brings a spark to the team. He's got some surprise pop. Again, I don't want Winker playing 162, But if he's playing 81 and Marte is playing 81, I think you could have yourself a pretty decent lefty-righty platoon.
I'm happy that Sean Browning's here in the chat, but Sean, as I stated, this is the teams as currently constructed. So I wasn't missing Giancarlo Stanton intentionally. Giancarlo Stanton's still in the IL. So it's the teams as currently presented. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, you're taking the Mets here, and when you're looking at the platoon, you're not looking just at the players' base stat line for the year. You're looking at what their matchup is against the opposite-handed pitching. Marte is going to play exclusively against left-handed pitching. Winker is going to play exclusively against right-handed pitching. Marte's OPS last year against left-handed pitching was about 850. Winker's career OPS against right-handed pitching is about 830, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So they are going to go with a straight platoon here. And if you just look at these players on paper, you're not going to be like, oh, that they're okay players. They're okay to have. As a platoon, if you're at DH averaging somewhere in the 800 OPS range, that's a really, really good position for the Mets. I think this is one-sided as constructed. You're going to take the Mets platoon.
Thomas?
Yeah, I don't care. These guys all stink. That's what I got.
Stinks a little hard.
So you're not gonna vote at all? Is that what you're saying?
It's like whatever. It's like,
you know,
it's what are we doing here? This is none of these guys move the needle.
I'll speak on behalf of Thomas. Credit to Ben Rice for putting on some muscle. He had a nice solo job on Sunday's game. I think Ben's going to do some great things for the Yankees. I just don't think right now is a smart time to choose him over two veteran players in Marte and Winker who could do a lot more and have a little bit more of a resume right now. I need to see a little bit more from Ben Rice. Maybe this conversation changes in 3 months when we do this again, but I got to go with the Mets platoon at DH. All right, we're going to move on from offense, and we move to pitching. And just like we did with the outfield, we're taking the starting pitching staff as a whole and the bullpen as a whole. So starting pitching, we'll start there. There you go. There's your mix. For the Yankees, you got Rodon, Fried, Stroman, Warren, who starts tomorrow's game against the Diamondbacks. Carlos Carrasco didn't make the cut on the graphic, but he's there too. For the Mets, you got Clay Holmes leading the staff with Tyler McGill, David Peterson, Kodai Senga. I'm missing somebody, and I forgot who. Who am I missing out of this mix? There's
Griffin Canning.
Griffin Canning, right?
Oh God, not Griffin Canning.
He pitched phenomenal the other day.
Oh my!
As currently constructed, Corey Favs, who has the edge here.
The Yankees have the two all-star pitchers in Fried and Rodon, and as much as I'm excited for Senga this year, as great as Peterson looked tonight, as great as Griffin Canning looked yesterday, I have to give the edge to the Yankees until proven otherwise. Now, I do think come the middle of the season when we do this again for our next check-in, I think it might be a little closer if Minaya comes back looking good. But I have to go with the Yankees until proven otherwise. They have the all-star players.
Yeah, I mean, this is closer than people think. And if Minaya was here, it'd be very close. The fact is,
Clark Schmidt was here. The Yankees have even more.
Well, Manaya's coming back.
Luis Hill was here. It wouldn't even be a question.
But Clark Schmidt's going to be back like soon.
Manaya's going to be back in a week. So, listen, Fried's the best pitcher on the staff. I'm not buying that Carlos Rodon is an all-star of anything. I think he's a mediocre pitcher at best. I actually think that the Mets have the next two best pitchers after Max Fried and Senga, and I think Peterson's actually better than Rodon at this point. I don't like Warren and Stroman. So it simply, does Fried outweigh the rest? And at this moment, they probably does. If you ask me this, when Minaya comes back, I'm going to take the Mets over him because I think the Mets are going to be more consistent 1 through 5 outside of Max Fried.
And so Joe, you'll be wrong. You'll be wrong again. Listen, the Yankees win this solely because the fact that Tyler McGill's name is Tyler instead of Taylor. It's a dumb name. It's a stupid name. He has a stupid brother who's a whiny little bitch. Yankees easily.
Let me ask you something. Are you confident that are you confident when Stroman and Warren take the mound?
Yeah, I mean the Yankees defense let Stroman down incredibly last year because their infield defense was so bad, and he gives up a ton of contact. He gives up a ton of ground balls, which is also what happened to Clay Holmes last year. As I said earlier in the show, the Yankees defense on the infield has improved at every single position, especially with even if you look at the new guys brought in, plus even like Volpe continuing to evolve as a top caliber defensive shortstop. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star, but Marcus Stroman would be a much better player this year with an improved defense behind him. He pitches the contact. The Yankees defense last year was like little league levels.
He's a 3-month pitcher, and then the calendar turns over to the second half, and he falls off a cliff. I mean, that's Marcus Stroman. I mean, we've seen it how many times. He gets hyped up for the beginning of the year, and then come August 1st, he's a terrible pitcher.
So that plays perfect to our hand because the conversation is currently constructed right now, and I'll take the Stroman right now, turn the calendar in April. We'll have a different conversation come July when it comes to Marcus. I'm taking the starting pitching for the Yankees as currently constructed right now. For Clark Schmidt, by the way, because there was questions on Boone said on Thursday that Schmidt is expected to rejoin the rotation in the middle of the month. So he's coming up. So that's Schmidt's
I'd be nervous about Schmidt because the news is that he's not recovering between throwing. Usually that's something going on. Like, I know they're building him up, but the fact that it's going to take him that long to build up when he was already at 50 pitches, the fact that he's not recovering would make me really nervous. Usually that leads to something.
Look at the smile on his face. What a sick smile on his face.
What do you mean smiling?
Am
I wrong?
Just
a little bit
disgusting behavior out of you.
Am I wrong though?
Yeah, you are wrong because you're being disgusting and gross right now. Let's move it on.
I'd be concerned.
Finally, we have the bullpen, and there's obviously more of a supporting cast than just Edwin Diaz and Devin Williams here. I just featured the two closers, but this is the overall bullpen, not just these two guys. Corey, Favs, in our last head-to-head matchup, who do you have here between the Mets and Yankees?
Listen, Diaz this year, now you're a full year away from the season he missed. He pitched last year, again, a little bit of ups and downs, ended up, which is good. Nice clean 1-2-3 inning. Devin Williams, another guy coming off an injury. He came back in the second half of last year. Gave a little bit of a heartache, but he's going to be fine. Don't worry about Williams. Williams is going to be fine for the Yankees. So you're good there. I love Weaver, too, as a setup man. But I'll tell you what, I like the Mets bullpen this year. And I know the Yankees have some injuries there, too. I mean, Cousins was nice. He's hurt. I'm actually right now, as currently constructed, I'm going to give the slight advantage to the New York Metropolitan bullpen. I just think they have a nice deep bullpen, and you have two guys in Brazoban and Kranick fighting for that last spot. They both have it right now because Blackburn's going to be on the IL for the first 2 weeks of the season. He'll be your long relief man, and both of those guys have looked good in the limited action. I'm going with the Mets as currently constructed, the slight favorite.
Yeah, the closers, when both are at the top of the game, I mean, is really close. You're probably taking Williams. If they're both at the very top of their game, Williams probably a smidge better overall. But, I think the Mets have drastically improved their bullpen. I think the Yankees have lost a lot of arms out of their bullpen. Canley's gone. There's a bunch of guys gone out of that bullpen. There's a few guys hurt right now. So you take Diaz, Jose Buto, AJ Minter. Those are household names. As far as Weaver is concerned for the Yankees, he had a great year last year.
Household name.
I have to be convinced that Luke Weaver I got to see it for more than one season, because at the end of the day, he had a 6.5 ERA over the course of his career. So I'll give the slight edge to the Mets here. I just think the professional arms at the back end are better.
Tom, are you trying to prove that he's a household name because you're saying his name multiple times in your household?
I'm saying it in my household. I mean, Luke Weaver was one of the stars of a World Series finalist last year. He is much more of a household name than Jose freaking Buto and whatever other clowns the Mets have in their bullpen. Yes, Edwin Diaz is a stud when he has everything going on. I still think Devin Williams is a better when they're on top of your game, which you agree as well. The most important thing is the Yankees still have – listen, I let you talk about your nonsense. Let me talk mine. Mine's not nonsense, though. The Yankees have the most important piece of their bullpen. That's Matt Blake, because Matt Blake just finds guys. He finds guys like Clay Holmes. He dusts off the rot and the grime off them, and he makes them all-stars. So listen, we have Williams, we have Weaver, who are Weaver's the next best guy after these two in the bullpens right now. And the Yankees are going to continue to develop other guys or Fernando Cruz type guy, and you're going to see what you're going to get out of him. The Yankees bullpen is a better bullpen because they've proven it year after year that they can continue to develop these guys.
So this will be the first time that we have a push here for head-to-head because I absolutely agree. And this is completely – I'll take off my Yankee hat for this one. Listen, Tom kind of stole my point a little bit with the Matt Blake thing. The Yankees have taken trash and turned it into gold over the last few years. You know, you mentioned Clay Holmes, but I could throw out some other names. Guys like Wandy Peralta, guys like Lucas Licky, guys like Tim Hill from last year.
Guys like
they have – There's Luke Weaver, 100%. So they have this tenacity to be able to do this. And now listen, when you have guys at this point now, when you have guys like Williams, Weaver, Leiter, Hill, that's your primary back end. What I'm looking at is guys like, as you mentioned, Fernando Cruz, Brent Hedrick. Those are guys that I want to see this organization toy with and see what they can get out of these players. But Joe, you mentioned a bunch of pitchers that went down to injury, and you're absolutely right. Jay Cousins was mentioned by Corey Favs, John Loizaga, who they signed knowing that, he was going to start off the year on the IL, JT Brubaker, Scott Efros, who I think the only time I get to see Scott Efros is I'm playing the show. For what it's worth, though, the Yankees are always able to figure out a way to make it work with the guys that are healthy. So if the top four that I mentioned continue to do their thing and the Yankees get one of the four bullpen pieces that are remaining, the Hedrick, Yarbrough, Yogo, if any of these guys step up out of this crew, this is a formidable bullpen. So I'm going with the Yankees here, and it's a rarity. It's been a long time since they had somebody in the back end with experience at the closer's role in Devin Williams. It's been a very long time since they had that there. So I'm going Yankees. I'm going push here for the head-to-head for bullpen.
Here's one thing I got to say about Buto, because Tom mentioned Buto. Buto as a reliever last year, in 36 innings as a reliever, 2 flat ERA, 19 hits, 41 strikeouts in 36 innings. He is a weapon out of that bullpen since he converted from a starter.
Yeah, that's Tom Weapon.
Yeah, and he's not as good as Luke Weaver. So,
but again, Luke Weaver has 1 year, man.
What you just said how Jose Buto has like 22 games. Like
Buto's also 25.
What are we even talking about here?
Eddie mentions here manager face-off. I mean, head-to-heads, we typically just do the players there. For Boone and Mendoza, real quick, without even giving an analysis. Boone and Mendoza, who you taking? Corey, Favs, Joe, Tom.
Boone. I love Mendoza though.
Mendoza.
Yeah, I mean, Mendoza fell off the Boone tree, so we got to go with where it started. Boone.
Boom. Okay. All right. We're not going to count towards the head-to-head because I actually believe the Mets won that technically with the head-to-head. If I got to look back at that, so we're going to move on from it, and we are going to touch on X, and with that is Corey Favs. Corey Favs, let's talk about ESP Podcast on X.
Yeah, listen, X is our most active app. We're tweeting every day from multiple accounts. Follow our main account at ESB Podcast. That's where you'll see updates for the show and general updates as well. We'll do some general Mets and Yankees chatter there. But follow our subsidiary accounts at ESB NYM, managed by myself and Joe, and at ESB NYY, managed by Rich, Tom, and Sierra. Those are going to give you more exclusive Mets and Yankees coverage, more live tweeting will come out of those accounts while we're watching the games. So go ahead, follow us on those three. Also follow us individually, myself at Corey Favs, Joe at JR Pugs, Rich at Rich J. Rivera, Tom at T. Waspil. And again, we have the again, we mentioned it earlier. There's the extra space that we have each week, and we have an expanded team for that. So go ahead and follow at Boogied at I can't even talk. Boogied ANNYY, Chris Nieves 618, and Sierra Not Missed. Go ahead and follow all three of them. They're going to give you great extra Yankees content as well. Twitter right now, we're over 3,100 followers and growing. So go ahead and give us a follow there.
Corey Favs mentioned, get off my screen, relief pitchers. What are we doing here? A Bronx Take. Yes, that goes live every day, Monday to Friday, 1:00 p.m., all different Yankee perspectives. You mentioned Boogie, Chris, and Sierra. They've been doing a great job on the middle days of the week. I take the Monday, Friday shows. Been a lot of fun so far. We're about I think we're like 36 episodes in. So check out episode 37 tomorrow, hosted by Boogie. And for more X business, we have extra innings following the show. So 5 minutes after the show tonight, we have our post-show space in extra innings. So make sure to come through and hang out with us for that as well. But Folks, we always end our regular season episodes with a game, and tonight's game is Guess the Graph. Guess the Graph, a fun one. Joe, I know you have one of the balls for today, so let's start with what you have here.
Yes, this is what I have here, and there is an opening day theme to that. That's the first hint. The relevant to opening day, whether that's past, present, that is up to you guys.
Opening day theme. Folks in the chat, you can absolutely give your answer, but I will not be looking at it. Tom will not be looking at it.
Yeah, let me hide the chat. Hide the chat.
Hide the chat. Hide the chat.
I have a guess, but like that doesn't fit the theme. Also, I don't know why that would be a ball. So I don't want to say it.
I know. I think me and Tom are thinking of the same player.
I don't think we are, Corey. I don't think we're thinking of the same player.
All right.
All right, I'll just throw out one. We have 3 guesses.
K system. We're back on K system. Yep.
All right, 3 Ks. Chris Sale.
No.
No.
I
was thinking of a Chris, but it wasn't Sale.
Only because of the home runs. That's not Tyler O'Neill, is it?
No.
Okay. That was pretty incredible.
There is a correct answer in the chat, so make sure.
I'll just fire off the one that is not right. I'll say Chris Stewart.
No.
Yeah, Chris. Knew it wasn't it.
All right, that's one round of the case. Joe, you have anything else for us?
I'm trying to give one that's not going to give it away. This person is a hurler side of the ball.
So pitcher. Okay, you could just said pitcher.
Really weird way of saying that.
That's interesting. Pitcher. Is it Clay Holmes?
It is Clay Holmes.
Let's go. I'll take it. It's a rarity we get the active player.
Yep. Clay Holmes.
Okay.
I'll take the Clay Holmes. When you said opening, so the opening day starting pitcher, I was like, okay, it's a C. Funny enough, there were 2 C's that started for the for both the Yankees and the Mets. Carlos Rodon and Clay Holmes. Definitely not a trivia question, but yeah, I'll take the first points to start things off with Clay Holmes at the helm. So and I have a chance for another because I have the next ball, and with the next ball, let's get that up here if we want to get this thing working on season 4. Okay, here we go. Our next ball. I'll start here. This is an inactive player and obviously a former Yankee.
Francisco Cervelli.
Wow, Corey Favs, you got it.
Let's go.
Francisco Cervelli.
I saw the F and the C, so it came to mind.
I got you thinking about Yankee backup catchers. I think I deserve a half point.
I was going through the Fs quick. I'm trying to check them off, and Corey just comes in immediately.
Oh, man.
Immediately. I love when that happens, and it always seems to happen to me. I just don't know when to step it up, boys, when it comes to these trivia questions on ESB. So I just got to do a better job here. Francisco Cervelli in record timing from Corey Favs. I actually like Tom. I like Cervelli. I think he was a solid
I love Cervelli.
Catcher. I miss not an all-star player, not like again, fan favorite 2009 guy. Cervelli. That's my guy. So anyway, we're gonna put an end for episode number 118, our first episode of season 4 of Empire State of Baseball. As I mentioned before, make sure to hang out with us over on X for another edition of Extra Innings, which really is the show for the fans. This is a chance to give us some feedback. Tell us how we're doing, if we're doing good, bad. If you want to shit on Joe or Tom, come through to Extra Innings. That's the show for you, and we'll continue some of the conversations that we had on our show here, Empire State of Baseball. But we'll be back next week for a brand new edition of ESB. So let's take it around the room for some last licks. Corey Favs, Joe, then Tom, and I'll wrap this thing up. Corey Favs, go ahead.
Listen, let's go Mets, baby. Up 10-2 right now in the 9th inning. Get this closed out. And for those of you tuning in for the start of season 4, thank you very much. Looking forward to a fun year with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just happy baseball's back. And I gotta say, one of the greatest feelings in the world is sitting there watching a baseball game with your son sitting on your chest watching, sleeping with you.
Jose Budo, household name.
Jose Budo, household name. Well, we'll see you next Monday for April the 7th, 8 o'clock p.m. Make sure to tune in because that's going to be the return of one of our favorite segments here at ESB. That's New York Strike Exchange. Our Bulls and Bears returns next week on the show.
Jose Buddha might be on there.
Jose Buddha might be on it. We'll find out. I think Judge is definitely on it at this point. All right, we'll see you next week for our next episode of Empire State of Baseball. Take care.